disgusted with the leadership of the state-appointed superintendent of the Newark Public Schools, Cammie Anderson. Excuse me. We opposed budget cuts in tune with the $56 million last year. We opposed the $50,000 bonus she received from the state. We supported the vote of no confidence passed by the Newark Board of Education, and now we're actively organizing students and parents in the broader community in the fight against the proposed school closings under the One Newark plan. Today we are bringing our voices from Newark to Trenton to deliver a petition signed by more than 4,000 parents statewide, more than half of those petitions coming from Newark parents and students and the community. We spent the last few weeks gathering signatures online, knocking on doors, presenting at meetings, and growing a vocal base of supporters who oppose the One Newark plan. The petition we're delivering supports the Stop Forces School Closures Act, which will provide some measure of democracy and community input regarding school closures in state-controlled districts like Newark, Camden, Jersey City, and Patterson. New Jersey Communities United and the Newark Students Union strongly support legislation that will give our community a say-so in the decision-making in our public schools. And we're proud of the coalition that has been built over the last month with Parents Against One Newark to mobilize against the proposed school closures. With that said, I'd like to introduce you to Frank Adeo, who's been leading the fight with Parents Against One Newark throughout the community. They've been doing a phenomenal job knocking on doors and getting people mobilized, especially Newark parents. With that further said, Frank Adeo.
Good morning, my name is Frank Adeo and I am a parent and co-founder of Parents Against One Newark. I graduated from the Newark Public School System, as did my parents and my grandparents. I currently am the parent of a child, Matthew, who is here with us today, who is a Newark Public School student of Oliver Street School. Newark has suffered from state control of our public schools for more than 2 decades now. Sadly, I wasn't surprised to see the announcement about public school closings in Newark just before the holidays, but I was outraged. And so were several thousand other Newarkers who have since signed petitions and mobilized against the One Newark proposal. We have never been invited to engage in discussions on the One Newark plan. We never were made aware of the planning was taking place. We were simply handed a plan put together by the state-appointed superintendent of Newark Public Schools. The proposed school closings and proposed renews, redesigns, and resites are part and parcel of what we have experienced in Newark for years. The local community, parents, educators, school employees, and city leaders have been denied the democratic participation that we not only deserve, but we demand. As a parent, I absolutely agree. There is room to improve our public schools, but the One Newark plan is not the way to do that. The Stop Public School Closures Act is a positive first step towards restoring our voices in the direction of our public schools and the foundation that is built to prepare our children for the future. It will guarantee that our concerns as a community are heard, and more importantly, that we have a democratic vote through the Newark Board of Education on public school closings. I also just wanted to say thank you everybody for coming here. We maybe would like to see our Senator Ruiz here with us in the room today. So we hope that we all have your support in passing this, and I thank you guys for your attention.
Thank you very much, Frank. Our next speaker is Hassan Manning, also a Newark parent.
Hello everyone. My name is Hassan Manning, and I was born, raised, and still a resident of Newark, New Jersey. I am the PTA president at Maple Avenue School in the South Ward of Newark. But most importantly, I'm a proud graduate of the Newark Public School System. I want to start off first by apologizing for being here today. This is an embarrassment. To be here on behalf of a strong body of parents and concerned citizens to advocate for the choice of children's education is truly alarming. Who would have thought a day would come when children will be viewed as a dollar sign in order to receive the gift of life, education? For a network of people to bully their way into a community and rip away a child's civil rights is a barbaric act of injustice. To take away our community's public schools is insensitive and wrong. These schools are historical landmarks which families take pride in and which are the root of our community traditions. The people of Newark were not consulted in any way when decisions were made to shut down our schools. In fact, Newarkers were completely shut out of all of the verdicts affecting our public schools. To that, I say to the Christie administration, how dare you? The regard shown to us has been beyond disgraceful. However, the people of Newark are determined. We are fighting back in one voice to gain local control of our children's schooling. We are earnest in our efforts for our children to have excellent quality of education. Above all, that quality education needs to be within walking distances for our children and their own neighborhoods. Newark deserves that. Our children deserve that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hassan. Our next parent is Geraldine Howard.
Good morning. My name is Geraldine Howard. I'm a lifelong resident of the city South Ward. I have 4 grown children who have graduated from Newark Public School, Weekway. And my youngest daughter is currently a sophomore at Weekway High School, one of the public schools in Newark slated to be closed. I'm here today because I am outraged by the One Newark plan announced by Christie-appointed Superintendent of Newark Public School, Cammie Anderson. I question the process that was used to make the decisions about school closing in Newark, and I question the goals and expected outcomes of these school closures are supposed to be. Cammie Anderson claims to have nearly 80 community meetings about One Newark plan, but none of these so-called community meetings were well publicized. I did attend one meeting where Cammie Anderson presented a plan, but I learned about it from my neighbor. I was lucky enough to attend simply because I was there early at the meeting and was open to the community on a first-come, first-served basis. Ms. Anderson presented her plan. She took no questions, but instead of answering those questions, she responded only with the information she wanted to share with us. That meeting was only a community meeting in name. The fact of the matter was the parents were not heard at the meeting. Our concerns were not addressed, our questions were definitely not answered, and certainly our voices had no impact on the plan itself. And Ms. Anderson presented was just what she wanted us to hear. The petition we are delivering to our elected officials today is meant to address the concerns of what we are experiencing as parents at Newark. I want to extend my deepest gratitude to the legislators joining us today, and I want to thank you for supporting us.
Thank you. Our next parent. Yes, we also want to take this opportunity right now because the Assemblywoman has to leave to acknowledge her support on this bill. Assemblywoman Bonnie Watson-Coleman.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for being here and recognize, please, that I come from Mercer County. So while we are discussing the issue which is facing Newark at the moment and the urgency of it, there is no school district in the state of New Jersey that is immune to the possibility of this sort of anarchy that is taking place, or this sort of dictatorship that is taking place. We are part of a participatory democracy. You are here not just as parents, you are here as taxpayers. We must have deliberative discussion, planning, and outcomes discussed about how we can engage and improve public education for all the children of the state of New Jersey, because that there is our constitutional obligation of a thorough and efficient education, public education for all of our children. I, along with Assemblywoman J.C. and Senator Rice and several other legislators, all of whom do not come from Newark, we will actively engage and support this legislation and make sure that our voices are heard and that fairness and transparency, something that we really see that we need desperately in the state of New Jersey, are considered. And I thank you, and to the parents who are delivering these petitions. We legislators will accept these petitions with the respect and the dignity with which you present them. Thank you. Democracy in action. I'm sorry, I have to go to a caucus.
Thank you. Again, we thank you, Assemblywoman Coleman, for all your support. on this very extraordinary bill for Newark. At this time, I'd like to call Darren Martin, another parent from Parents Against One Newark.
Thank you. My name is Darren Martin. I'm a Newark homeowner, resident, and parent of 2 children at Ivy Hill Elementary School in Newark. I'm also PTO president at my children's school, as well as a community activist and child advocate for over 20 years. I totally support the Stop Forced Public School Closures Act. This bill will prevent those that are in power from playing politics for New Jersey kids' education. My message to Christy, Surf, Cammie, DiVincenzo, Senator Ruiz, former and present educators, pastors, and some other elected officials on both sides of the aisle, some unions, and some newspapers, our children's schools are not for sale to the highest bidder. These schools belong to the community, not any of the people or groups I just named, and we will do anything in our power to protect them from these poverty pimps. Although Christie painted a rosy picture in the State of the State address the other day about our the Newark State appointed Superintendent Cammie Anderson, let me give you the real story. Cammie only meets with parents that don't disagree with her, and there's not many of them. She sneaks into and out of back and side doors at every meeting, doesn't talk to the community. Moreover, consistent with her boss Christie's culture of retaliation, she punished those Newark public school employees that question or challenge her. You see, because they have so much money and power, they can afford to punish their enemies while rewarding their friends. In closing, fact is there are failing charter schools as well as traditional public schools. And because you call a school charter or academy, it doesn't make it successful. You could call it Scooby-Doo University or Flintstone High. It doesn't matter. The recipe for great schools are active, concerned, and caring parents, outstanding principals, vice principals, teachers, and non-instructional staff, and laser-focused students with a school district that supports, encourages, and builds them up, not one that turns their backs on them, disappoints, and tears them down. The power of the people is always more powerful than the people in power. No justice, no peace.
Our next speaker is Assemblywoman J.C.
Thank you so much. I echo everything that Assemblywoman Watson-Coleman said, and as the co-prime sponsor of this legislation, we welcome your participation, your involvement. These petitions are like gold. And I want to tell you, although I represent Morris and Essex counties now, previously I represented Galesburg, and I know your school very well. And I know the excellence that is occurring there. I also have a sister who teaches in Newark. So we talk about this on a daily basis, and I am thrilled with the opportunity to publicly begin to challenge the lack of involvement, the lack of inclusion of our parents in Newark. Because everyone talks about parent involvement and how important that is. Well, that takes time, that takes energy, and you must be very intentional about that involvement. So I look forward to working with each and every one of you and everyone represented in your petitions. And as the Assemblywoman said, this is a state, this is not just about Newark, this is about our public schools, the importance of them. I welcome the opportunity to spotlight the importance of public education to our parents and our constituents. Nothing is more important to a democracy than a well-educated constituency and community. So this is just the beginning. We look forward to working with you. We don't want this to be adversarial. We want this to be inclusionary. We want this to be collaborative. And we want to stay on point. We are talking about our children who are our future. Nothing could be more important. And I apologize for having to leave. We do have a caucus that just started downstairs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to call up Senator Ruiz.
Thank you, Assemblywoman Myla J.C. And the sentiment has been expressed eloquently from my colleagues on the Assembly side. But I think something that was very clear was an email that came from Frank. And it was parents who recognize that changes have to be made, but that they want to be part of the process that's changed. That the draft bill that I've witnessed in action today that I believe will be formalized is about process throughout the state and creating a uniform, transparent system as to how every district will attempt a school closure. The truth of the matter is that this is not political. It's about people, and that whoever is making the decision has to create a table that is inclusionary, that is responsible, that is transparent, and that really recognizes what we have to do. My record has spoken for itself. We have to create change in some of our school settings. That is not without any doubt, and all of us recognize it in the room. But if we do it in a collective way, working towards a final goal that really is more comprehensive, I think that the end result is a much greater win-win for all of our communities. So thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to call the president of the Newark Advisory Board, also, or now known as the Newark Board of Education, Ms. Antoinette Baskerville.
Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I just want to say that I am thrilled that we have all come together here. My name is Antoinette Baskerville Richardson, and I'm the president of the Newark Board of Education, and I speak here today representing the Newark Board of Education. But I also speak to you today as a Newark resident and homeowner, as a graduate of Heshine Avenue School in Newark and Weequahic High School in Newark, and as a former teacher of 36 years in the Newark public school system. So I am deeply embedded in what happens in Newark and what happens to the children of Newark. I have 3 adult children who also attended the Newark public schools. I am so thankful for all of the community work and effort that is going on around the state. Sometimes in Newark, we feel that we are alone, although we know we are not alone. What the One Newark plan has done is bring everyone together who really cares about public education. The One Newark plan is a farce, it is a failure out of the gate, but it has brought us together, and if it has done that, then that in itself is a good thing because we had to come together. In terms of what is actually happening, community meetings in Newark. There have been numerous community meetings, but they are all after the fact. What we have asked from the beginning, and what we continue to ask, is that the most important stakeholders, that is the parents of the children, the taxpayers in the city of Newark, that those very important stakeholders be respected and be brought into the process of any fundamental changes in the education of our children at the very beginning stages. The school board did not get the information on the One Newark plan until about 2 days before it was released to the public. If anyone thinks that we had any participation in that plan or that we have had any impact in terms of any changes to that plan, let me say now that that is not so. That we stand with the community, that we stand with all of the elected officials, with all of the parents who are fighting for fairness in education, who are fighting for the civil rights of our students and the voting rights of the parents, that they be respected in Newark, that the people that they elect to make decisions and weigh in for them actually are able to do that. And I stand here, there's so much I could say, but I say thank you for this coming together. We cannot lose our school buildings. We cannot allow the decimation of our neighborhoods based on the opinions of someone who has simply come or been sent or whatever the origin of the trip to Newark is. Someone who is simply here for a while and will certainly move on while we stay. We must come together. We must stay together. Yes. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Tony Baskerville has been a champion getting out there in the trenches with us, going to community meetings, and I just want to thank her for all of her support with the parents of the Newark Students Union and Community United. Thank you. I saved the best for last. Our champion of public education who's been fighting in the trenches with us since the state took over in the city of Newark. But before I do that, I want one of our parents to present Senator Rice with the petitions that they have been working